Hello and welcome everyone to What We Know. Today we're going to be diving into hell with Helldivers 2. We're actually going to be talking about a video game that Sam and I have fallen in love with playing. Speaking of, hello Sam, how are you doing today?
I am doing very not exploded by a grenade so far, but that is part of the nature of this game, and we'll get into a little more as to why.
Or a hell bomb. So we're going to be talking about Helldivers and why it blew up and why we think it blew up and why we think it became something more than just a flash in the pan for a relatively unknown franchise. So before we get into that, let's find out what is Helldivers in the first place, right? Helldivers 2 is a third-person co-op shooter where up to 4 people drop down onto a planet and accomplish a goal within an amount of time that involves killing hordes of enemies and collecting items in different locations. Now, this is a very simplistic drop-down of the bombastic and wild reality of what this game is, but Helldivers 2 takes that and packages up into a fun political commentary with screaming eagles and clones. Oh, so many clones.
I've died so much. There are so many more of me to come. But while the gameplay is not easy, it is simple and has enemies heavily inspired from other franchises like Terminator with the Helldivers automatons, bots, and like Starship Troopers, whose enemies closely resemble the Helldivers Terminids, or bugs. So this is not a game that is thriving because it is radically innovative, but it's still managed to become incredibly successful, grabbing the attention of millions of people with 8 million copies sold at the time of this recording. It's available for both PlayStation and PC, and Steam by itself is sitting at over 550,000 peak concurrent players. So if the game isn't original or complex or run by some huge AAA studio, what has made it such a phenomenon?
But that's kind of the crux of the question. Why did Helldivers become big? And we've kind of got a few bullet points that we're going to talk about why we think it is. But I think the first thing that we should point out is that this is supported and backed by PlayStation. So right there, it is pushing it onto a platform that itch.io, to steal a comment from Sam, wouldn't have made if it didn't have that backing, right? Like, it has a lot of aspects going for it, but it has been elevated to a point because PlayStation is in fact backing this.
I agree, but simultaneously, PlayStation can only use its platform to amplify whatever is already there from the studio. And what's there in terms of social media and marketing are, much like me when playing with Jake in a flamethrower, absolute fire. The trailer for the game is fantastic at conveying the tone of the world and the style of play, and there is something unutterably and perhaps even uncomfortably catchy about spamming the words democracy, freedom, liberty, and patriotism over and over. It works.
Yeah, there is the virality of the game, the fact that it is just punchy with the for democracy, and it's so just in your face of like what it's doing, right? It's there, it's America, right? It's very much that aspect of gaming, but there are other aspects of this game specifically that makes it a social media and marketing just wonder, which is the fact is that there are aspects within the game that will only unlock if people work together and play together, which means that people will then post and talk about the game more, because the more people that are going to be playing the game means the more likely they're going to accomplish their goals, right? And so as people are talking about the game and doing stuff in the game, it isn't just the fact that PlayStation or the game company is tweeting stuff. It's also the fact that they're turning around and going, hey, this next unlock will happen in game if we accomplish this goal as a community, and everyone jumps on it because they want to accomplish the goal. And so more people talk about it, and that word of mouth just continues to grow and grow and grow, and more people just want to experience it.
It's true. I had no particular connection to the social media marketing, but I was absolutely captivated by the word of mouth of waking up one morning and all of my friends were playing Helldivers. But that's happened a lot of times. I've had a lot of games that all of my friends have played for like 3 weeks and then moved on to the next big thing. But why is Helldivers taking root? Why not just has this game become big, but why has it stayed big?
Yeah, I think that, again, all of this is just based off of personal experience with the game. None of this has any sort of like factual, here's the data, because that's Sam's job to talk about science, all right? Not mine. So one of the reasons I think it has that is because it has a very supportive content creator ecosystem, right? Most games, when a new patch comes out or something new comes out, it goes, oh, patch 14.1, this is the changes that are happening. And that is only interesting or entertaining for people who are interested into the game already, right? I need to know what the best gun is in this game so I know how to better defeat my enemies. But for the average player who just wants to go in there and have fun with their friends, or people that haven't played the game, the ecosystem for content creators making patch notes is not fun or interesting for the average person. So having a game that is fun and silly and very serious in some aspects of it, where, you know, people are playing and they're shooting enemies, and then all of a sudden they turn around and there's giant bugs just standing there ready to attack them. It's funny. It creates very funny situations for content creators to film this and post online. Or you know, the fact is that there is someone in the game that is a game master that turns around and makes changes and does things in game that like affects everyone. And we don't know if this is a GM, but going back and forth about the content creator ecosystem, but there is certain people that are playing the game, and the bots, the Terminids, won't shoot you. They just walk up to you and just are curious or interested in you. And you're like, what do I do? That is very unique and very interesting in a game that is played by millions of people and running around shooting things. Having these like random situations happen where you're kind of led to believe, wait, not everything is as it seems. It allows for people to create content and talk about the lore that might be interesting in this world that like people don't know about. In fact, Sam, why are the bugs on planets?
Because we put them there for democracy.
Yes.
Managed democracy.
But they're there because we can get what from them? The
E710.
E710, which is oil, which is making a political content. The game is very political. They're not afraid to say that this game is political. And I think a lot of a fun aspect of it is that a lot of people that don't necessarily believe in the stance of the creators are still getting swallowed up by the for democracy, super Earth, we're super citizens. Like they're getting swallowed up by that, and they're experiencing these things and not necessarily realizing that it's political, but it's not trying to hide it like at all. And so it creates this aspect that people are interested and want to learn more and find out more. And it's just, oh, what's the lore? What's going on with this? Why are the bugs here? Why are the automatons attacking us? Wait, there's a third faction? Wait, what? And like, there's just so much going on, so that it makes a lot of the game really, really interesting that people wouldn't necessarily like jump in and see.
It's true. There's really effective environmental and piecemeal social media storytelling about the Helldivers world that invites us to discover it. But even that is only compelling once you're already bought into Helldivers a little bit. And I know what got me to go from watching my friends play that game, and they'll be off of it soon enough, to, you know what, okay, fine, I'll get Helldivers, was finding out about that game master to whom Jake just alluded. They are called Joel. Are they one? Are they many? We don't know. Their name is Joel. And just as a tabletop role-playing game has a game master to architect the structure of a campaign, likewise does the campaign for the galaxy, for Super Earth, have an architect, a game master, Joel. And this can show up in little ways from time to time in people's individual missions. Perhaps there's an unexpected vehicle there. Perhaps there are too many Bile Titans over there. The Game Master giveth and the Game Master taketh away. But likewise, architecting some of the bigger pieces as this ongoing live service game engages in a campaign across multiple planets, across multiple fronts with the bots and the bugs, to ensure that our battle to save our way of life is interesting, is compelling, is challenging, and has ups and downs. And in so doing, these major orders, these campaign objectives, and the difficulty associated with them is a very different way of encouraging players to engage with a live service game, where a lot of games might focus on FOMO of not getting a certain item or completing a certain milestone. Helldivers doesn't bank off of that, but rather off the intrinsically compelling community participation in the story itself. No, you don't lose anything mechanically or materially when you have to be somewhere for the weekend. In fact, you will even get all of the goods associated with our success, but you won't have been there when we liberated Malevolent Creek. And I think that's just one of the really consumer-friendly elements of this game, which, Jake, I know you have a lot of thoughts about.
I have a lot of feelings about the consumer friendliness. So the game itself has a box price tag, right? And there are microtransactions, okay? So I've already lost a handful of you. There is also a battle pass. So I feel like just that information, people are like, I'm out, I'm done, I'm not interested in any of this here. It's a box price. So it's not a full box price. It is a reduced box price game. You can pay extra if you want the super citizen stuff, right? But that I feel is the only thing, the super citizen like starter edition is the only thing that is actually not achievable to get in game. Right? Everything else about this game is completely achievable. The microtransactions are, in fact, exactly that, micro. They're not $10 for a skin like in other games, or in games like Diablo, where their skin for a horse costs more than the game itself, or the horrible, annoying aspect of League of Legends, where with a group of loot boxes and missed chances, you could spend up to $200 getting a very specific skin, and they, after being called out about it, were like, yeah, well, we got to make the whales happy, right? This game is not any of that. There are multiple battle passes that will happen, but here's the thing. Is you buy it, it's yours forever, and you can unlock it at the pace in which you want to play it at, right? So it will never go away once you've purchased it. The in-game currency, there is in-game currency on every map that you play. And so when you play the game, if you search around and you go and look for things and not just go for the objective, which if that's your gameplay style, go for it. But there's enough super credits, which is the in-game currency, for you to find that you can buy the battle pass over and over again. And there's in-game currency in said battle passes. So the game isn't forcing you to buy anything. And the other microtransaction is they do have a rotating store of armor and gear that pop up in the store, which again, a couple bucks here or there if you want to buy specific armor in the game. I will say that the one aspect that kind of turned me off at first is the fact that the armor does in fact have stats on it. And so it is in fact considered pay to win if you are buying armor, because the armor is giving you better stats than what you would start with or what you would have by just playing the game, right? That being said, the game has come out and said it will never, ever be PvP. That is not the game we're trying to create. That is not what this game is about. And since the way that this game has been created, where it is about a community and it's about everyone working together for a collective goal, if your teammate has the super mega cool armor, great. That's just helping you out. That's not hurting you in any sense. It is only helping the overall cause. So I feel like the pricing model, because the microtransactions are microtransactions, I've seen more people being like, yeah, I'll spend $2 on this. That's fine. That's not a big deal. I've been playing this game for however many hours, versus other games where I look at a skin and I'm like, oh, that's really pretty. And then I go to click on it. I'm like, I'm not spending $10 for 15 pixels worth of stuff. You know what I mean? Like it is very frustrating. And so I feel like with the combination of the virality and the social media aspect being published and pushed by PlayStation, the GM and how that works, and how the game itself and how the game story works. And then the fact is that these microtransactions, these battle passes, aren't predatory on the sense of pushing FOMO, preventing people from getting things, is what's allowing it to continue to pay its employees and push the game forward and make new content and drop new things in the game. And I think that it is just a massive ball of luck and really, really good development is what's making this game so well. Is the game perfect and bugless? Absolutely not.
That's why we have to fight the bugs.
Exactly.
For super.
But the thing is like, the game has bugs and has issues, but no one cares. No one cares because the game isn't made and designed to suck every penny out of you like a lot of other popular games, and especially live service games. Live service games are literally like, how do we make as much money off of you with as little amount of time? Let me use all of the dirty little scientific secrets of making you spend more money, versus this game, which is, I want to make a fun game and I put money stuff in here because we need to make money because we live in a capitalistic hell state. Look at Super Earth, you'll understand, which is how I feel like the game kind of goes, you know? But yeah. I think that those are some real key reasons. What about you, Sam?
Yeah, I agree overall. I don't think Helldivers is successful because it's somehow totally unlike other games out there right now, although elements like Joel the Game Master are novel in this kind of game.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, Helldivers is successful because it's doing what a lot of those other games are doing, but without taking gamers' lunch money. And by focusing on, first and foremost, what will be the most fun experience. It is monetized enough to be sustainable as a live service game, but it's not so greedy that it turns players off or reminds us that this game is but a pretext to extract Earth currency from us. So, if you're wondering if Helldivers is right for you, to me, if you have friends who like to play it, yeah, it really is. Helldivers can be played alone or with randoms, but at least in my experience, the best way to have a good time in Helldivers 2 comes from running for your life as you are progressively overrun by more and more bugs until eventually your friend kills you by hitting you with a grenade, which coincidentally killed all of those bugs, you're welcome, Super Earth. It's not a game where you have to be an aim god in shooter games. One of our friends is a self-described non-shooter person, and after 3 Helldivers missions, she was mowing down bugs and fellow Helldivers with a flamethrower like the best of them. So I think if you can have those social and community connections, then you can have this surprisingly compelling and excellent game. Jake, any final thoughts?
For Super Earth.
If you enjoyed today's episode, give us a like and subscribe, and let us know whether you'd rather fight bugs or bots in the comments below. You can also catch us on twitch.tv/althaven_, where we stream RPG content. You can join the conversation on our Althaven Discord, and if you want to support us, you can do so on coffee.com/althaven. Go forth, fight for managed democracy, and until next time, keep it weird, Internet.